Now we move to Deputy Peter Fitzpatrick on behalf of the regional group.
Taoiseach, as I'm sure you're aware, there was a huge concern and indeed anger about how the Leaving Cert grade inflation witnessed on Monday will impact over 20,000 CAO applicants using the previous Leaving Cert results. I had assumed that the calculated teacher's estimate mark, combined with the standardisation process overseen by the Department of Education to bring these grades more in line with previous years, would have resulted in more consistent results when compared with previous years. When I look at the breakdown of results, it is clearly showed that teachers overestimated their students' marks. Also, a total of 1 in 6, or 70% of teachers' estimated grades ended up being reduced downwards to limit the scale of the grade inflation. Yet, despite this, we still see an overall grade increase by almost 5%. When we look at individual subjects, we see that there are big jumps in H1s in applying maths, 79%, geography, 54%, English, 43%, biology, 32%, and maths, 31%. Overall, Taoiseach, the proportion of students securing top grades at higher level papers has jumped significantly ahead of last year. As a result of this, we can expect that the CEO points requirement to increase significantly across the board. To put this in context, if an average student receives a higher grade in 4 of the 7 subjects, this would result in them achieving an increase of 45 CEO points. The net effect of this, Taoiseach, is that the points required for CEO courses will rise significantly. This is completely unfair to those students who are looking to apply through the CEO system this year, but have completed the Leaving Cert in 2019 or earlier. I have spoken to quite a number of students from Louth who completed the Leaving Cert in 2019, but are applying for the CEO in 2020 and are now at a complete disadvantage. A lot of these students who did their Leaving Cert in 2019 and earlier have worked since then to save money so they could afford to go to college this year. Taoiseach, these students must be protected and given a fair chance. With no system in place to ensure that the fair treatment of this group of students when the CEO offers are released on Friday, it is now clear that these 20,000 students will be at a severe disadvantage when competing for the courses places against those who received their results by the predicted grade system. These applicants do not have the same representation as those who are due to sit their Leaving Certs this year. However, they must not be ignored by this government. My question to you, Taoiseach, is whether the government was willing to do the right thing by those 20,000 applicants to ensure they are not only groups severely disadvantaged by this process. If the government is not willing to take decisive action to rectify this impending problem, the consequences unfair will be apparent and inexclusive. The government has referred to the fact that additional college places are being made available this year. These extra places will not be nearly far enough of offsetting this fully predictable injustice. Taoiseach, we must support and encourage this group of students. Education is the key to a successful career, and we must afford every opportunity to students to ensure they reach their full potential. We cannot have a situation where a certain group of students are totally disadvantaged as a result of a situation which they had no control of. I am appealing to this government today to do the right thing by this group by taking whatever measures or actions are necessary to ensure that the CEO offers release are fair to all students, not solely of the class of 2020.
Thank you very much, Deputy Taoiseach.
First of all, I think yesterday was a special day for the thousands of students in the class of 2020 and their families, who, it's fair to say, have endured a lot of anxiety and uncertainty over the year due to the severe impact of COVID-19 on their lives, and particularly on their education and their leaving certificate. And both their schools, communities, their teachers really articulated more than a sigh of relief that they got to this stage where the results were issued. And I genuinely want to pay tribute to all involved behind the calculated grades system in terms of the technical people within the Department of Education and the extraordinary work that has gone into this. But the overall point shouldn't be lost on us that this was a very unique year because of COVID, and no optimal solution can be found in relation, ideal solution other than sitting the exam itself. But even the exam itself, as you know, historically has always had a standardisation process. And the process here was very comprehensive. In respect of the grades inflation, I think it has to be pointed out that about 79.2% of cases, there was no change of grade at all. And of the 2019, it's not 20,000 who did it in 2019. I think my understanding is about 9,000 would have undertaken the exam in 2019. But from 1985 to now, you could have up to 20,000 applicants. And some of that 9,000 may get places. So there's a whole range of variables that are going to play into what will happen next Friday in terms of the CEO points competition. And it's very difficult at this stage to be precise in terms of the challenges that may arise from some of last year's Leaving Certificate students in seeking and securing places this year in college or institutes of technology or in various other areas. So to that extent, the Minister for Higher Education, Simon Harris, in conjunction with Minister of Education Norma Foley, have been working on this. And overall, there will be over 5,000 additional places this autumn at third level, CEO places. But 2,000 from the budget increases and demographic increases, of providing for demographic increases, plus over 2,000 from the July Stimulus and the Human Capital Initiative, plus 1,200, which was agreed by Cabinet 2 weeks ago, all designed to try and reduce pressures in key areas. And there's about 370 in high-grade areas specifically as well. And so a lot will depend in terms of decisions that students themselves will make. Particular variables which will impact on demand this year in 2020 include changing patterns of learning with more blended learning, accommodation and transport factors, students seeking to defer maybe or reapply in subsequent years, and reduced opportunities in the economy.
Thank you, Taoiseach.
May be a factor in people's decisions. The impact of the pandemic itself on student decision-making about courses. A lot of courses will be online this year. That may impact on student decision-making. And again, the uncertain patterns of students, international students travelling, could also impact on places.
Time is up, Taoiseach,
But we are keeping a very strong watching brief on it at Count Corla, and we're going to do everything we can to try ease the pressures on those securing places this year.
Thank you. Deputy Peter Fitzpatrick.
Taoiseach, first of all, I would agree with you. It is a unique year. But Taoiseach, this group has a lot of questions, and I feel as though you haven't answered the questions. It is clear that the CEO points requirement will be greatly inflated this year due to prediction grades systems. In my opinion, Taoiseach, we need a level playing field. If you look at the grades has increased in 2020 by 4.4%. This government and the previous government are always asking for solutions. Taoiseach, I think a real solution is that I suggest the students who done the exams in 2019 or previously before 2019 should have their results increased by 4.4%. So they will be treated the same as 2020. To me, that is one solution you can have a look at. Everybody deserves an education. As I said earlier on, education is the key to a successful career, and we must afford every opportunity to students to ensure they've reached them to their full potential. In the Dock, we have a college called the DKIT, and I'm very proud of the DKIT. The simple reason is that 80% of the students that attend the DKIT, their parents haven't attended, never got an opportunity to do third level education. Education is very, very important. Taoiseach, listen, this is a unique year. Please don't stop anyone from going to get a third level education. Give them all courses. Right? If someone does a course and they're not capable of doing the course, they'll eventually drop out of the course. But please don't stop someone having a third level education.
Thank you very much. Taoiseach, to conclude.
Well, as I said, the government has approved 5,000 extra places this year to try and ease the pressures. The calculated grades model, in my view, is robust and it's as fair as it possibly can be. I believe the decision to take out socioeconomic profiling of schools was the correct one, and which was broadly welcomed in this House. And not every government doesn't have it in its capacity or power to create just places for every single person who wants a place in third level, unfortunately. The third levels themselves don't, basically. But we have worked, and I know the ministers have, with third level to secure additional places. You'll understand that in practical courses involving laboratories and so on like that, that can be difficult to expand numbers. But significant work has been put into providing resources to get increased numbers at third level this year. And we will monitor the situation. The Minister is continuing to work to see if he can get additional places from, working with colleges this week. And we'll see where this lands on Friday and what the nature of the challenge will be for those students that you refer to. But it wasn't possible to do a separate calculated grades for 2019 cohort who are applying this year. This is a once-off.
Thank you, Taoiseach.
It's a very unique situation, and I think all of the work has been around trying to make it as comparable as possible with previous leaving certificates and indeed future leaving certificates.
Deputy Joan Collins.